Hey everyone, welcome, and I'm so glad to see you all again. Thanks for showing up and being here with me today. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Bob Nesbitt, and this is part 5 of this Breathwork series. And today I'll be providing some specific breathwork exercises for digestive issues for whole wellness and its relationship with the nervous system. Then a brief check-in on how I did with the exercises from last time in part 4 of this series. Then I'll present another breath assessment and finish up with some mini breathwork exercises, as our breath is a cornerstone of neural rewiring and a foundational component of the neuroscripting process. Okay, now let's shake out the stress of the day with some dance. And today I selected the song Walking on Sunshine. Let me just cue things up here. All right, I'm walking on sunshine. Yeah. All right, so let's get settled in. Find yourself in a comfortable seated position, palms up, resting on your knees. Close down the eyes if that feels comfortable for you to do. Take a deep inhale through the nose, filling your belly, followed by a deep exhale, relaxing the shoulders and down through the back, thus allowing your presence to arrive in the here and now, and just breathe normally. Now let's quickly rub our hands together, creating heat and energy. And as you do this, you activate both hemispheres of the brain, the creative and the critical. Just stop and bring your hands together at heart center, thumbs into the chest, elbows out to the side, allowing the creative and critical to become one. And just sit with this while being grateful that your basic needs in this moment are being met. Just take a quick pause here, and I usually will thank my angels for reminding me of their presence and providing me with the messages that I need to hear today. You can say something similar and whatever resonates for you. So today I'll be sharing with you some exercises around breathwork for digestive issues and calming the nervous system. Please seek guidance from your primary care physician if in doubt before proceeding. Now in parts 1 through 4, I presented the 11 fundamentals about breathwork and its relationship with the nervous system. So see those recordings. Moving on here, as a reminder and review from last time, part 4 of this series, was the diaphragmatic control, function and resilience test of the diaphragm in tandem with the psoas, which are the main fight and flight muscles. They are the main regulators and nervous system muscles. So what was your diaphragmatic control score? What came up for you? What was your takeaway from that assessment? Anybody want to share? Please do so in the comments. Now we'll move into the next part, which is assessment number 5 and called the exhale and count from 1 to 10 test. This will help assess diaphragmatic and CO2 tolerance and diaphragm strengthening. So I'm going to explain what we're going to do, and then we're going to do the exercise, and I'll tell you how to interpret the results. So I just want you to listen to the instructions first. So you're going to breathe. Just take some nice deep diaphragmatic breaths in. Again, nice and deep, but not overly exaggerated. Again, don't go into the rapid, crazy style type of breathing. Just nice, deep breaths in through the nose, into the diaphragm, out the mouth. And then when you're ready, we're going to take a full inhale, as full as you can get, but not like the maximum capacity one, but a nice full inhale. Then you're going to proceed to count 1 through 10 as many times as you can while allowing air to escape. So every time you end on a 10, that counts as 1. So it may be helpful to track this on paper and just make a mark of some sort and add how many you did when you're done. If you don't make it to 10 at the end, that's okay. Just make a note of where you ended. All right, so watch me do it. I got a board here and a marker. So you inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, one thing to mention here is since we did a dance, your results will reflect this. So do it again later on and compare. It's normal to feel your belly sink in. You want to push yourself on this one. Get all you can out of it. You're going to keep going until you feel that response kick in, that you need to breathe. So I want you to push yourself to count to 10 as many times as you can, and not really fast, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Okay, a nice normal count, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, at the rate that you normally speak. So don't change anything. And remember, it's going to be on the inhale. And then when you start to count, you're going to let the air escape because you can't speak without air escaping. And you will stop counting when you need to take a breath in. And then resume normal breathing. All right, so on 3, I want you to begin. So 1, 2, 3, and go. I'll give you, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds or so. Put the timer up. $15. Really don't need a timer for this, but I'm just doing it just to kind of give you guys some time to do it for myself. So just so I know, okay, so we got about 40 seconds there. That should be good. So how did you do? How many rounds of 10 did you get? Be sure to record your results. And if you finish a round in the middle, then record that number. So if you got 4 full rounds of 1 through 10 and ended on 6 on the 5th round, that would be like 4 rounds plus 6. And when scoring this, just know that 20 to 30 times is like the upper limit. So great, what does all this mean, right? So first of all, this test is also an indicator of both diaphragmatic function and CO2 tolerance. And the more rounds that you can count to 10, the better. The upper limit for a really good resilience indicator is being able to count to that 20 to 30 times. There is no low, medium, or high type of score here because this one is very subjective because people speak at different rates. So you can only rate against yourself knowing that the upper limit is between that 20 and 30. So there is no low, medium, high because it's just way too subjective. And remember, you always want to count at the same pace. You don't want to speed it up to get more rounds in because you're only competing against yourself, not against anybody else. So in light of this, wherever you are today, don't beat yourself up. So if you're at a 5, okay, then aim for 6. And if you're at a 6, aim for 7. And every week, aim to add one more every week or every 2 weeks. You determine that. But the more, the better. You will notice that you're able to have more rounds at different times of the day than others, and depending on what you did that day or the day before. The more fatigued and stressed you are, the worse your score will be. Just like you probably noticed if we did it after the dance, you're not going to score probably as well. So again, like I had mentioned, check that again later on in the day. So what is this doing? Did you notice when you got towards the end, your stomach was sucked in and thus your diaphragm is elongating, right? This is entraining that diaphragm because we want that diaphragm to elongate. We want it to dome because the diaphragm has to elongate and dome at the top a certain amount to even trigger the parasympathetic response to kick in. So if it's not elongating and doming enough, that parasympathetic response is never kicking in. Is this stuff fascinating or what? Let me know what you think in the comments. In our upcoming part 6 of this series will be another assessment and tool on how to gain insights from the body and nervous system, and is completely different from the first 5 assessments that we did. I'll end this week's session with 3 basic simple breathing exercises for you to be able to assess if you have any diaphragmatic inflammation, something you can practice this week. There is a muscle that if it becomes dysfunctional is going to create digestive havoc. There are many muscles that can do this, but there is one in particular that is of absolute importance, which is the diaphragm muscle. And for those with chronically engaged stress response and people that are in limbic system trauma loops are going to be highly dysregulated. Their diaphragm muscle is going to be just as layered with tension patterns as well as the second most important muscle, which is the psoas muscle. A highly chronically tense diaphragm muscle will constrict the whole digestive process. So this is important to know as generally those who have had liver surgery, like a resection surgery, usually end up with having their diaphragm cut through and can cause chronic diaphragmatic inflammation from blunt force trauma. It can be painful as you eat, as your diaphragm constricts and you can feel like, well, you're having like a heart attack. It's not necessary to have had surgery to get diaphragmatic inflammation. For example, endometriosis can be an issue with diaphragmatic inflammation. Now, endometriosis is a disease of the female reproductive system in which cells similar to those in the endometrium, the layer of tissue that normally covers the inside of the uterus, grows outside of the uterus. So don't just think that this has to do with surgeries. You can have dysfunctional stuff like chronic stress in life, which creates tension layers in the psoas. Because the psoas muscle is the main muscle of fight or flight, it's what attaches our lower body to the upper body and literally allows us to fight or flee. It is the fight or flight muscle and it communicates through signaling all day long through the vagus nerve to the brain. And so if this fight or flight muscle is in a chronic state of fight or flight, what messages do you think it's going to be communicating to the brain? It's going to be saying, hey, we got some problems down here. Would you sound the alarms? We need to fight, or we need to run our asses out of here. And if we don't respond to this, tension builds and builds, which is why trauma release exercises, TRE, and emotional freedom technique, EFT, can be helpful or just a matter of shaking it out or dance to expel that bound up energy. You now know why I do the dance. And well, it's fun too. So let me switch mics here and get my yoga mat in place. Okay, so give me a moment. Okay, got the mic switched up. So let me get my table. All right, so I got the table out here, and let me get up on it. Okay, so here are some exercises to help with this diaphragm muscle and to assess if you have any diaphragmatic inflammation. And you can do these along with me. All right, so sit Indian style on a yoga mat or whatever you might have. And the first exercise is very simple. You keep inhaling, taking inhales, filling the diaphragm up until you cannot inhale anymore. So you take a long, deep inhale through the nose into your diaphragm, take another one, and literally keep inhaling until you feel like you're going to pop and you can't inhale anymore. Then you hold your breath and you do 3 moves. The first move is arcing back gently. So you arc back and then gently twisting left and to the right. And then arc from side to side. No specific order, just arcing back, twist left, twist right, and arc side to side. Let out your breath and repeat. You should feel a gentle pressure or tug on the diaphragm. And when you have to exhale, you exhale with a slight bend forward and you do it again. There's no magic number of repetitions. It's whatever's within someone's tolerance, like maybe starting with 5 reps of these 3 moves, and that's the first exercise. So again, it's just breathe in, bend back, twist left, right, arc to the side, right? And you don't have to do it in that order, but you get the idea. So just like so. That's the first exercise. So you breathe in. You can't breathe in anymore. Feel that diaphragm. Twist. Bend back. Side to side. And then when you need to breathe, you breathe. And then do it again. All right. The second exercise, you do just the opposite. You exhale and keep exhaling until you have no more air to exhale. So you're like literally deflated 100%. And then you suck in the belly in towards the spine as far as you can. So you're like, suck in the gut and your ribs are sticking out. Then you take the fingers and you gently massage right along the inside of the bottom of the lower rib. And for those with diaphragmatic inflammation, it's going to be tender. So you gently massage, and then when you feel you have to take a breath, stop, take a breath, and repeat. All right, so again, without me talking much, exhale. And that's one, and then you just keep repeating that. No specific amount again, whatever feels comfortable for you at the time, and then you would progress as you continue on, right? So curious, did you have any tenderness? Right? Many of us will. So now the last one is on your knees and your shins. So let me change position here. All right. So you're on your knees and shins, right? On a yoga mat, whatever you've got to feel comfortable with. And you're resting on the back of your legs. Start with your arms above the head. Take a breath in through the nose. And whenever you breathe in, it needs to be through the nose. Every inhale is through the nose. That's an overall general rule. So you start with your arms above the head. Take a nice deep breath in and do a forward fold as you exhale through the mouth. Then you begin to inhale again through the nose, but this time when you inhale, you come up and you start to do a slight back stretch going backwards. Right? And then you start to arch as far back as you can to stretch the whole diaphragm muscle. You keep arching, and then when you need to breathe, you start again as you exhale through the mouth, and you go back into a forward fold and repeat to a comfortable level. Because of the limitations of my table setup here, my forward fold is a bit compacted. You'll want to reach out your arms further to get a better forward fold. So you always want to be inhaling through the nose on the upward swing, and then arch back, and then exhale through the mouth on the downward fold. And there you go. Okay, we're done with that, and I'm going to switch mics. These are some powerful digestive supports and a good assessment to see how much diaphragmatic inflammation you may have according to the tenderness that you feel. A modified breath of joy exercise I showed you in a previous video is a good exercise that can be beneficial here too, if you modify by concentrating on bending the back when coming up. A well-functioning diaphragm and psoas are integral to digestion and nervous system regulation. They are core fundamentals. So in wrapping up, and once again, the best part of all this is that our breath is always with us and it's free. Put any questions in the comments. So at this point, I will lead us into a tuning out. When you're ready, rub your palms quickly together, creating that heat and energy once more. Now bringing the thumbs into the heart, elbows out to the side, and reconnecting with that love that is already inside of you, being grateful for the practice that is leading you back home to self. And we close today's practice with 3 sat nams, a longer sat and a shorter nam. Take a cleansing breath, inhale and exhale. Inhale to begin. Sat is truth. Nam is essence. Truth is your essence. Sat Nam. And when you're ready, come back into the space. And once again, thank you for sharing your practice with me today, because this is now your practice. I'm grateful for you joining me today. And for those of you on the live or on the replay, please feel free to comment. I would love to hear what your takeaway is from this presentation. I look forward to seeing you again next time for part 6 of our last segment in this series. Much love, light, and joy to you all.